Danielle La Porte is a former think tank executive and business strategist who left the TikTok corporate world to inspire people to be more contrarian, decisive, creative, spiritual, and successful. In her new book and in her Firestarter sessions, she hopes to ignite you into irreverent and powerful action. After all, life is a verb. Someone said that. It is my pleasure to welcome Danielle La Porte to Studio 4 to tell us more.
Great intro, thank you.
Well, nice to see you again. It's a great book.
Thank you.
What prompted this?
Oh, a lot of pain and suffering.
Of course. Prompts everything, doesn't it? Pain, suffering,
Yeah.
and then you get to the point of holy yes.
Holy
I know
yes.
who I am and where I want to go.
Yeah. I did, in my current career incarnation, I decided I needed to go on the road. So I went to 16 cities in a year doing these live, in-person group Firestarter sessions. It's all about the entrepreneurial spirit, kick it into gear. And I worked in boardrooms and living rooms, a pole dancing studio in LA, and I kept hearing the same things. Stuck, overwhelmed, waiting for permission.
Okay, don't have enough time. Don't have enough time. I'm too busy. Can't do it. Don't know who I am. Not happy. Kid Rock. You have the quote in the book said, if it looks good, you'll see it. If it sounds good, you'll hear it. If it's marketed right, you'll buy it. But if it's true, you'll feel it.
Yeah. I think we're hungry for authenticity. We know sincerity when we see it, when we feel it. And we're craving for it. I think we're craving to see it in other people. And we want that ourselves. It's that, everybody's had that feeling where they leave the house and you're wearing the wrong thing and you feel pinched all day. I think some of us go through a lifetime feeling that way, just hemmed in, folded, constricted, not in our zone.
Sure, afraid to be who we really are. Now, trying to figure that out, who we really are, is not always easy because we've been told who we should be from the time we were out of the womb.
Yep, that's how early it starts, I think.
I think so too. Take me back to when you were faking it. Just a bit. Early jobs, Washington, D.C.
Oh, think tank, reading about weapons of mass destruction every morning, really being much more attracted to pop culture and Rilke and Rumi, black suits, smoking a pack of Marlboros on the weekend because of the stress. Jump cut to here I am now, where I'm interested in conversations where, you can talk about consciousness and cash in the same breath, and ambition and inner peace, and that's my idea of holistic.
Sure, but you were the one in Washington, D.C., I hear tell, who had purple streaks in her hair.
I did.
I don't know how that went over in Washington, but I suspect not all that well.
Well, actually, I had purple streaks going to my first meeting at the White House, and someone took me aside afterwards and said, "You're not from here."
Really?
Really?
Really? You noticed. But who said it? It was probably Bill Maher or somebody that Washington, D.C. is Hollywood for ugly people.
Yeah.
Was it him?
But I was so well accessorized when I was there.
I'm sure you were. So you went from there to where?
I went from
After
there
Washington.
to here. I went from there to pajamas for 6 months. I didn't have this fancy title of executive director. I tried to get into Emily Carr Art Design School. I got rejected. I still have that letter. And then there were numerous entrepreneurial incarnations and raising money and getting canned from my own incorporation, and then it all became
Canned
about
from your own corporation.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Founder, name on parking spot. Time to go. Yeah, that was painful and fabulous at the same time. It was the freedom I craved, and it was everything that started where I am today, really.
So change is good.
Change is
I know we've heard
always
that
good.
a lot, but trying to absorb it is not always easy. But you're confident, you're a contrarian, you're feminine, you're decisive, and you're creative. Were you born that way? Do you think we all are, really?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. It would be it would be convenient for me to say no. It would be, it would come off as more humble, but I think, yeah, I was born awake. And I'm a work in progress, and you struggle every day about, what you're going to share and what you're not going to share. But I think everybody is born with that spark, that openness, and that really kind of divine hunger.
Right. However, as you know, there are rules, and you blow apart most of those rules in this book. It's not a self-help book, it's a blow apart self-help book, really, because you say things like life balance is a myth.
It doesn't
Forget
exist.
life balance.
No, I don't know anybody with a balanced life. What happens is, I hear this a lot, especially from stay-at-home moms, like, I'm going to give equal amounts of my time to what's left of my career, to my family, my loved ones, and to myself. And when we do that sort of equal proportion thing, every part of our life is immediately like in conflict with the other part. Someone's going to lose, and you're going to lose. It's a recipe for guilt. Life balance does not exist. Stop chasing it. Really, it's about going for greatness and integrity, and that is often not an even keel scenario.
Sure, going for what flips your skirt. Really, don't you think? You talk in the book about, I think it's Latin, I'm not sure, it's Iuccus Lundi Dretus,
Yes.
which is how we feel on Sunday night, most
Yeah.
of us,
Yeah.
before we go to work on Monday. And on Monday, and Lundi in Latin is Monday, so Iuccus Lundi Dretus means I dread Mondays. And even if you love your job, you dread Mondays. What's that about?
Yeah, the Sunday night anxiety. I think we go through the conversation of, what am I going to have to fake this week? I'm going to have to fake my enthusiasm, how much I love this job, being happy in the marriage. And you know what? All those things can be terrible for you. Like, life sucking is actually not the worst thing. The worst thing is denying that it's sucking. And I think when you get to this place of just, I call it the euphoria of admitting when it sucks.
Okay, and you have to do that
Yes.
first before you can ignite into any kind of action. You have to say, my life sucks.
Yeah.
Here's why.
Yeah. And then the solutions come. What happens is we don't want to go to that this sucks place, because we immediately think, well, what am I going to do to fix it, to change it, to make myself better, to improve?
Right.
Doesn't work that
Sure,
way.
but your lizard brain says, look, you're
right.
lucky. You have a roof over your head, you have food, you have a couple of friends, you're lucky. But something inside, and that's what you talk about a lot, that spark is not sparking. You're not feeling it. As Kid Rock said, when you're doing the right thing, you feel it. So how do you help people in your sessions get in touch with the feel part?
You look at the gratitude that's showing up in your life. I think the appreciation that comes your way from other people is a direct reflection of your genius. I think you create a stop doing list. We all have to-do lists and goals and bucket lists and all of that. I think what you decide to stop doing is as important as what you're going to change.
Okay, so you have to give stuff up. You do.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take you down, in a sense. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I think there's,
somebody's a pain in the neck, you have to give them up, or give the project up. You've done that.
yes, you
Dumped a client
you give
because-
it up, or you just say, like, these are things I don't do anymore. Red-eye flights, clients that make me miserable, not being happy when I walk in the door. It's not all like letting go of negative stuff. It's like, you know, the transition to I'm giving up ways that don't work for me.
Okay. Sounds simpler than it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure. But anyone or anything that does not bring you alive is too small for you.
Yes, indeed.
Anyone, I wrote that on the wall. Anyone or anything that does not bring you alive is too small for you. And it sounds ego-driven, doesn't it? Like we're almost afraid to say it. You're too small for me. I'm weeding you from my life.
But when you hang with people who make you feel like your true self, who make you laugh, who make you think, the divine irony is you actually get to be of more service to them. You're happier. You're smarter. All your neurons are firing. You're more generous. I mean, really, you know, the Firestarter Sessions book it's really just a campaign for being generous with what you've got.
Right, and you say being well-rounded is highly overrated.
So overrated. Oh my God. I mean, I think of all the jobs I used to have. It was about, I had to learn to love doing Excel documents and managing meetings, and it's just like that just puts you in the disease to please mentality. And I realized I'm curious about eccentric people, and I was really attracted to people who were like focused and unapologetic, and I think really mastery and fulfillment is about becoming better at what you're already great at. It's like, oh.
However, if you are
velocity.
great at details and you do love being an accountant and working the numbers and it turns you on, do that.
Do that. Do what turns you on, absolutely.
Screw your principles.
Oh yeah.
Now, I'm not sure about that one. Nations are founded on principles.
I know. It's not about being unethical. Certainly not about being immoral. I was in a really good for them, bad for me contract with some service providers. Called my lawyer, said, what are we going to do? And I want to counter because, you know, of the principle. And I was really clear. Like, they had me on a loophole, but it was like not nice what they were doing. And he said, look, I've worked with people who have bankrupted themselves, drained their kids' college fund, ruined their marriages because of their principles. Screw your principles and get on with your life. And I did. And it really defined like the next decade of my life of just like letting things go, really looking at whether my beliefs were moving me forward or they were holding me back. A principle is really just a belief. And, you know, we've all heard the would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? For me, it's would you rather be principled or would you rather be free? And you do that all within the foundation of integrity and love, and you just move on.
Right, and you're not saying, as you suggested, being unethical or turning into a racist or a sexist or a misogynist. That's not what it's about. It's about sticking to a principle that really isn't your principle. That's sort of what I get.
Well, and you don't need to be publicly right all the time. You don't need to prove that you're the one with more integrity. Just go on. You do your thing, I'll do mine. It's good. There's lots of room for everybody.
So if you can take judgment out, that's good.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
It is. That's a work in progress.
I know.
Always. The Artist's Way, Julia Cameron, who wrote The Artist's Way,
Legendary.
one of the endorsers of your book calls your way the new badass artist's way.
Yeah.
Danielle La Porte, our guest, The Firestarter Sessions, a soulful and practical guide to creating success on your own terms, her book. We'll come back.